Hi everyone, it's Carrie. I am going to try to do video. I don't have the best setup. I just kind of like at the last minute decided to do this. So hopefully my tripod doesn't shake and hopefully you can see some of this. If I turn my light on here, you can't see it. It's too much. So I'm going to turn that off, leave my ring light on, uh, and go for it. So what I'm doing is I think I talked about the coat. Well, I know I talked about the coat in the last video. And this is the dress for the same customer. Her hem is a roll hem. I only had to take it up 2 inches. I'll have to angle into the side seams because I'm only doing the front 2 pieces. There's a split in the front. And my fabric is raveling a little bit, but when you do this roll hem inside this presser foot, you can't serge this because it's too much fabric to go in there. So the key is to get it wrapped around. Let's see if I can find something to point with for you. Wrapped around this little curve here, or under this curve and then on top. And the key is to keep your fabric on top. So you'll see me using my fingers a lot to make sure it stays in there. And then the other key is I have about a 2.5 stitch. And I say about because this is a semi-industrial and it doesn't have digital. So you have to like, just kind of know where your controls are. And the main key is to keep this on top, but the primary key is to go slow. So this is my new machine. It's my Juki TL18 QVP. This little thing is a workhorse. It does nice thin fabrics. It does super thick things. I've done the coat on it. I've done all sorts of things on it. I haven't done any quilting on it, but I know it will do that too with all the layers. But I've done some pretty heavy stuff. I can't think of anything offhand right now. And I'm going to go ahead. I already started this. And let me show you. This piece right here was my test piece. This is what I cut off, and this is, you almost can't tell my test stitch from the original stitch, but this is my test on this side here, and that's the original hem on that side. So they're pretty identical, and I did check the stitch length on this, and it was about a 2.5. The 3 was too long. The 3 stitch length was too long. It was kind of pulling at the fabric. So we don't want that. So this needed 2.5, so I cut it. I'm sorry, it needed to be 2 inches shorter, so I cut it at 2.5 inches shorter, and it's just enough to roll under. So again, the key is to go slow. And this time, usually I'm looking at this side of my presser foot. I'm not. I'm letting my crease that I ironed in glide along it, but I'm really looking here to make sure my fabric stays on top. And if I have, sometimes you'll see me hold it up, and other times you'll see me leave it flat. I'm going to start it off with it up. And it's kind of coming out. And that's why you go slow. So I'm going to raise the presser foot a little bit and get it back under there again. And I want it to stay on top of this piece. And this hem is a little bit curved, so it doesn't want to. So, but we're going to make it. And go really slow. I got a little too much back there, so I'm gonna manipulate it a little bit, get it back up under here. That's where I want it. I want that much over the end of this foot. So, and because it's a curved hem, I'm gonna have to go super slow and just force it to stay there. So now I've got some good stitches going here. So it looks like I will have to hold it up, and that's okay. There it goes. I got probably about 1 inch that's off, so I'll take that apart later and redo it. For now, I want this to go. See how it's trying to curl back this way? If it does that, then the fold is going to end up on top of the stitches, and I don't want that. So I'm going to push it back down. Kind of get it started again. So now it's curling under like I want it to. And I'll show you some of it when I'm done. There's a lot to be done here. I'm not going to do the whole thing here now, but I think I'll do this to the end while I'm on here. So it looks really, really nice. And that little fraying that's happening there, it's turning under. So I'm not worried about that either. Now I'm in a good spot. And I want to stay in that good spot. And I don't want to get happy that I'm in a good spot and go too fast. I want to go slow. So this is not a fast project. It's definitely doable. And it comes out nice and clean looking. And I lost it again. So before it gets to that next stitch, I'm gonna raise that foot up and get it back on top. When I say I lost it, it goes under the foot. I want it on top of this part, on the left hand side of this foot. And this machine is a high shank machine, and I just happen to have a high shank adapter around here. I don't know why, but I did. And so I was able to use this foot from my other machine, my non-industrial machine, and put on here because I used they call it the high shank adapter. And the foot fits perfectly on top of those. So I'm also using that adapter for my non-stick foot as well. Because why buy a foot? I have the foot and I have the adapter and they work. So when I pulled that adapter out, I tested it with a couple. And some feet it didn't work with. I don't remember which ones, but there's a couple that it didn't work with. So now I'm coming into where I angled off. So I'm gonna, and I'm still on this curve. So I'm gonna get it up there, and get right into that little bit that I cut off, and make sure it gets stitched down. So it's done. This side is done. The other side is much longer. I'm gonna do a little back stitch, just a little, and then I'm gonna cut it. And I don't know why it didn't cut all the way, but that's okay. Oh, it did cut. So I will show you what it looks like. So here's the part that I have to take a loose and do over, because you can see the frame, it kind of turned itself the other way, and that's not a big deal. Here is where it's really, really beautiful. Some of that is good and some of that is not, but for me, no big deal. I'll just take it apart and put it back in. But here's the beautiful, beautiful finish that it did do. I hope you can see that. I hope you can, yeah, I think you can see it. So don't be afraid to use those presser feet to do this work, because can you imagine trying to fold this little 1/2 inch hem? It's 2 inches off, it's cut it 2.5 inches shorter, just to give me that. But can you imagine turning that 1/2 inch over and then over again? You can't even press that. You can't press that. You'd be burning your fingers, or your iron would just give up on you. But it came out really nice. So like I said, I got a couple places where I have to go back, but almost to the end, it's beautiful. And that's all I have for today. Bye, guys.